Yeah. You going back in?
There's still men out there. God damn. When I go home, people ask me, "Hey, Hoot, why do you do it, man? Why? You some kind of war junkie?" I won't say a goddamn word. Why? They won't understand. They won't understand why we do it. They won't understand it's about the men next to you. And that's it. That's all it is.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
I want to make it clear that the views expressed by our hosts are not considered the official stance of MBR Views. Remember, this is all about having fun and enjoying the ride.
Turnbuckles and stogies. Yo, what is up? What is up? Yo, happy Sunday. Another Sunday with your favorite hostess with the mostest.
My dad, I'm doing a wrestling punch. I looked at her and I said, "Hey."
We are Turnbuckles and Stogies Pod, your hostess with the mostest, the big dog, the vanilla gorilla, and ladies and gentlemen, today, yo, y'all ready for this? Because I don't think they're ready for this, Joe.
I don't know. It might not be.
Ooh. Yo, what is up? What is up? Happy Sunday. Happy Mother's Day to everybody out there, whether your mother, aunt, sisters, brothers, cousins, aunts, uncles, whatever. Happy Mother's Day. So you are here with the hostess with the mostest, Big Dog, the Vanilla Gorilla, and we have a special guest today, Mr. Charlie, the CEO of Abbina Soda Pairing with Cigars. So, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to start our show. Welcome and have a great Sunday. Let's go.
Well, let's go. I mean, let's talk. Come on.
So, Charlie, let me ask you this. How did you get into doing sodas with cigars?
Well, I had a completely different career. I worked in politics for about 20 years. And about 2 years ago, I was sitting in my basement smoking a cigar like I normally do, drinking a Coke or Pepsi or whatever, because that was what I normally drank in the middle of the day. Lamenting my life, hating politics, right? And kind of thinking like, this Coke or Pepsi or whatever it was is really boring. And I think I can do something better. And I'd been wanting to get out of that career for a few years at that point. So I decided to look into it. And 2 years prior to that, I had gotten into a hobby of perfumery. And so I was really interested in all of these like smells and essential oils and what are called aroma chemicals and things like that. And so when I started looking into how to make a soda product that is, marketable and such, it turns out that the fragrance industry is the same as the flavor industry. So like the cherry that you get in cherry Coke is not cherry juice, right? Like it's not like fresh squeezed cherry. Real shocking. The cherry in cherry Coke is actually a molecule, a compound that some scientists made that lets you smell cherry through the back of your throat. It's called retronasal olfaction, right? Okay. And so all of these little vials of aroma compounds that I had upstairs for my perfumery hobby, they're actually, most of them are edible. Most of them are used in the flavor industry also. And so I was able to just mix some stuff and start building prototypes right in my dining room.
Wow.
And once I, decided, I want to move forward with this, I quit my job and hired a professional flavorist out of Louisville, Kentucky, to help me not kill people with the stuff.
Right.
And so that process took about a year and a half until we got the first production done in this past late December. So we're, these are the first batch that we're drinking here.
I'm drinking a Tower 44. Pretty good. Tastes like a cream soda.
I got the Royale.
And so there's 4 flavors in the initial line. And each one has it's a very diverse set of flavors, right? And so yours coffee chocolate bold,
Yep.
Good at dessert. It's a little sweeter. The natural coffee extract in it has a little bit of caffeine. Yours, I'd say, is the most versatile, right? Like it's kind of the easiest going one. And so the cool thing about that one is what I wanted to do. See, tell me if you find this when you drink it. I wanted to create a flavor that had leathery notes because I really like leathery notes in cigars. And so the way that we achieve that is by using saffron. So saffron is the world's most expensive spice, and I think it kind of is like this fine suede. Now, what you're going to get initially when you drink that is grapefruit, right? Like it's a bright grapefruit. There's a little bitterness, right? If you, in the same way that you retrohale a cigar, retrohale the soda, breathe out through your nose with the soda. That's when you're going to get that suede, very light suede quality.
Okay.
And then also in that one, I use patchouli.
What's that?
So patchouli is an herb. Now I'm going to let you smell it here.
Okay.
And Coop said that the Royale is one of his favorites.
It's
It's like little oil bottles that I put on my neck.
exactly. Well, patchouli is you only know patchouli from fragrances, right? Like this is well known as like the hippie smell, right? From the 70s. So smell this.
Oh man.
So can you find that in the soda?
Yeah.
It's much more light and subtle in the soda. But
wow, that's fucking good.
Ooh, there it is.
I mean, it's very strong.
Yeah, there's that second little gives you the whole whiff.
And so that you'll find that paired with the fresh grapefruit is really nice and gives it a ton of complexity. Now this is saffron. So saffron's going to be a little more subtle.
Saffron's what all the Spanish people use to cook.
Sure, it's where you get yellow rice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you smell it's kind of like suede.
I do.
Yeah. So that was how I wanted to achieve the leather flavor. And so if you have a middle of the road medium cigar with leathery notes, this is really what's gonna happen is your palate is kind of get super familiar with leather, so that it almost cancels it out on the cigar, and you're able to detect all of these other things more subtly.
So that would probably pair good, being that it has saffron. That would probably pair good with Drew Estate's Three Bitches.
No, it's
the leather rose,
the leather. Well, yes and no. I don't know if that might pair good, because remember that's already got sangria in it.
Right, but I'm saying if you pair that,
it's got like that infusion.
With that,
it might.
It would probably come out a little more because
it might.
Now it's almost an infused, but it's not really
right.
an infused cigar. So with that, once you smoke the leather rose or the other Three Bitches, Badass Betty or whatever they are, once you smoke that and you drink your soda, you're gonna taste the difference in the change, because now you know that what Charlie soda has saffron in it. So now I'm gonna sit there and smoke that cigar and be like, oh wow, I can still taste that.
There we go.
And then I sip your soda, and now I see the saffron's in the soda. It's also in the cigar, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and so what you're essentially allowed. So you can pair in two ways, right? I think about pairing in two ways. One is that process of enhancement where you're finding the flavor in the cigar that matches the flavor in the soda.
Right.
Cancels it out, lets you find subtle things in the cigar that you wouldn't taste otherwise. The other way is what I call creation. And so that's when you have two flavors that are completely different come together to create a third flavor. A plus B equals C.
Right.
And, so, it's my recommendation always get really familiar with the cigar, understand the cigar first.
Right.
Smoke the cigar first, have respect for the cigar first. And then when people are like, okay, I'm ready to explore a little bit further, bring in the pairings, right? Bring in the soda, bring in whatever else you're going to pair with, and try to find if you can detect new flavors that you wouldn't otherwise be able to detect. So, Royale is a good one for that creation because, chocolate notes are just very work
Right,
well,
yeah.
right? Like it's always gonna combine with a cigar super nicely. And when those things come together, you might be able to find new vanilla flavors, new spices, that kind of thing in the
Mhm.
cigar. So the opportunities are sort of endless. One of the interesting things though about that Royale, I thought I'd share with you though. So there's coffee, chocolate.
Yeah.
It's very vanilla heavy, and then there's a kind of nuttiness, right?
Yes.
So the coffee.
There you go.
All right. So the
I forgot that was there.
The coffee is interesting, right? In that one, it's a delicious coffee. When you grind coffee beans,
Yep.
and it smells so good.
Yes.
It never tastes like that.
Yeah.
This actually kind of tastes like
It
that. But
does.
what's interesting, this is the actual coffee extract that's in that. It does not
Wow.
smell. It doesn't smell like that tastes, right? Like
No.
it's almost like dog food a little bit, right? Like it's bold.
It's like almost like a espresso kind of.
You might get some soy sauce out of this. Right?
Yeah.
It's really.
You smell it's almost like a freshly ground like espresso bean.
Speaking of soy sauce, I know that because my sister-in-law's Korean, and when I lived with them, we used to cook a lot of stuff with soy
This
sauce.
is so good.
All the stuff was with soy sauce. And yes, you can smell
You get that little bit of savory,
Yeah,
weird
a little bit of
funkiness.
soy sauce.
So the interesting thing about this that you get to play with and understand is that this is a great example of how you have an extract like this, and in proper dilution with the proper complementary
Yes.
flavors, turns into something spectacular. Where like this smells kind of weird.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah,
Like,
it smells
this
strong
you don't
and
want to
like
necessarily eat this, right?
no.
But mixed into that, it really turns it into something impressive. And so here's the other interesting thing that's on there. That one has this nuttiness, right? It's almost it's kind of peanutty. It's generic nuttiness. This is one of the ingredients that we use to get the nuttiness. It's called trimethylpyrazine.
Was that like a medication?
That's like
It's a compound.
It's like a
compound.
it almost smells like
It's musky.
yeah, like almost like a cacao or something like that. If you smell it, it smells almost like a dark chocolate, like cacao nib.
And so again, that
Yeah,
it doesn't smell good. You
No.
don't necessarily want to eat.
No, but it smells like the baking chocolate,
Like my wife does a lot of
like the bitter baking chocolate.
Yeah. And so
it's like I brought home some.
Yeah, I
dark
made
chocolate.
I made the mistake of actually trying to eat that, not realizing it was for bacon, and
Chocolate, but what
it was baking chocolate.
baking chocolate. So he proceeded to take a bite
Because
took a
I
bite.
like dark chocolate.
It's not-
No, so the one you brought home was closed. I like dark chocolate, so I was like, oh well, I want a piece of chocolate. I'll eat one of those, and I bit it, and within seconds, I spit it right back out.
yeah, because there's no sweetness.
There was no. It was just there was no.
You need the sugar added. So like,
And
this is a good one where all
Right.
the other vials I have, they all smell good. The two that I have to explore
Right.
and try out, they don't necessarily smell good on their own, but it's a good example of how a complex
Right.
flavor formula. And it's kind of similar to when you think about the construction of a cigar. I don't know if you guys have gotten to do like Rojas has that exploring.
I didn't do the Rojas, but I've done like
Done other
the
ones,
with
little burritos.
yeah, we did it with actually with the guys from Aganorsa when our friend of ours, Mike, worked for them. We went to one of the events he was at, and he gave us the three
Yes.
the three things, and he said, you smoke this, and then I give you the final one, and then you smoke that.
And so you understand the components of each, but each one on its own
Is
is
it
basic.
yeah, and
right?
it's got its own
Not particular. It
they,
contributes to
right,
the
they each have their own ingredient essentially like this.
But without the other things, it's not magic yet.
No,
And
the
that's
magic's
cool
not
thing about
there.
this, right? So I mean, I don't know if you guys want to explore. So you only had that one?
No, I tried
I think you tried the other two bottles.
we tried with the one with the ginger we tried.
Okay. So this is Candlewood. This is the cherry and beet one. And I'll
Cherry and beet.
So before you dive into it, I'll put it in these cups.
Oh, he's got his own cups.
You can
No, I like that.
No, I'm saying that's cool.
save the full bottles for later for you guys.
Okay.
Okay, so here's what I want you to do. Before you drink it,
Wow.
just smell it.
That almost looks like the color that almost looks like a
Juice.
like a cough syrup.
Yeah.
So don't think cough syrup too much because I don't want you to get turned off by it.
No. But I'm saying like the dark, rich color looks almost like a.
There's a nice smell to it.
So smell it first. What you're gonna get is this kind of candy cherry.
Yes.
Now, if you don't think about cherry and kind of close your eyes, instead imagine you're smelling almond extract, marzipan.
Okay.
Right? That's the primary ingredient that we're using.
I can smell that.
Right?
Absolutely,
I'll
I can.
smell the vial of that in a minute. Now, this one's really interesting. Again, I said it's cherry and beet, right? You can't smell any of the beet. You can't smell the earth. That kind of, a beet tastes like dirt, right?
Yeah.
Again, drink it, close your mouth, swallow, and exhale through your nose. Do the retrohale on the soda. That's when the beet and earth is going to hit you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
right?
Yes.
Yes.
I just did that. Yeah.
So again,
You
this
can
is
smell when you retrohale it.
Yeah.
You can taste the beats coming out through your nose.
exactly. And so this is the really cool thing about human anatomy, right? Every flavor is not through your tongue. Flavor is all smell.
Yes.
But it's what's called retronasal olfaction. The same way that we can taste the flavors in a cigar through retrohaling the cigar is the way we taste everything.
This is good.
Through retronasal olfaction. And so the cool thing about anatomy is some molecules can be smelled through the front of our nose. Other ones can only be smelled through the back of our nose. If you eat one of this, you're only getting it through the back.
This is
right?
real. I like this. This is, this is another one that you can kind of. So this, to me, this is one of those sodas that you can just kind of drink
Yes.
regularly without like pairing it with something.
You don't want to pound it, but it's definitely versatile, right? And so smell this. This is benzaldehyde. So this is that benzaldehyde is the primary chemical compound in almond extract.
Yes.
So when I started formulating these in my dining room, I was using almond extract to achieve the cherry flavor because I think they're very similar.
They are.
Right.
Yes.
And then
I kind of like this one.
so the other thing that's going on in that is an ingredient called oak moss. And this
is really good.
This goes back to
It's really good.
This goes back to the perfumery thing, right? Oak moss is a major perfumery ingredient. Same with patchouli is.
Ooh. You know what? There's that.
This is the oak moss, and there's another earthy thing going on in that soda that you don't know. You're not familiar with it. But when you smell this, you're gonna be like, oh, that's what it is, and that's why.
Yeah, at the end of that, so the little bit I just had left that I just drank, I got some sort of almost like flavor that I didn't have when I started drinking it.
That's what I just got.
And so the oak moss is that
It smells
thing.
good.
It's really good.
I can't lie, that actually smells.
No good. Take a little bit out and just go like this.
Yeah, just put it right on and.
I guarantee you, nobody's putting oak moss and patchouli in their drinks. Like I'm the only person crazy enough to do that. It's because of the perfumery, but I think it's a really cool opportunity to experience a different way of this particular ingredient. It's natural, beautiful ingredient.
I like that.
That you never be able to get otherwise. So it's incredibly complex.
Right.
I think Cannawood goes really good with anything that has that kind of barnyard earthy notes.
Yes.
I love
I
it.
would go good with my Nika Ristica, with my KFC.
Yeah, anything with that, like that.
It could be cool with a KFC, and the reason is that sometimes that smokiness, the ashtray quality,
Right.
needs sweetness to come.
Yeah.
Right. Like it needs some help.
Even the sweets, which they don't make anymore, probably would go very good with that.
And so this also is real. And if you're gonna get into pipes, aromatic pipe tobacco, it's really good with.
I smoke pipes too.
Yeah.
So guys, on that note,
We're gonna take a quick commercial break.
Commercial break, and we'll be back with my man CEO Charlie of Abbina Soda Parents. We'll be back.
Been home about 6 months now, and I still have my doubts. Well, I'm not sure how I got here or how I'm gonna get out. Well, my mama says I look the same as I did before I left. But if she could see inside of me, it would scare her to death. I can still taste the powder from the barrel of my gun, and I can hear my sergeant screaming, "Run, soldier, run!" And I can feel the backpack on my shoulders, got it weighed a ton. And I see death in every single thought. Well, they taught me how to put that uniform on. I just can't get it off. Last Saturday they honored us in a small parade downtown. And when they shot off those fireworks, I nearly hit the ground. And while they smiled and cheered for us, all I could do was stare. 'Cause part of me is here at home, but part of me's back there. Well, I can still taste the powder from the barrel of my gun, and I can hear my sergeant screaming, "Run, soldier, run!" And I can feel the backpack on my shoulders, got it weighed a ton. And I see death in every single thought. They taught me how to put that uniform on. I just can't get it on. Yeah, there's no end in sight. 'Cause even though I'm home now, I'm still fighting for my life. Well, I can still taste the powder from the barrel of my gun, and I can hear my sergeant screaming, "Run, soldier, run!" And I can feel the backpack on my shoulders, got it weighed a ton. And I see death in every single thought. Well, they taught me how to put that uniform on. I just can't get it off. Well, the devil's won some battles, and he may win some more. But don't he know the American soldier will always win the war?
What up? What up, everybody? Hey, listen, we're back. We're back. We're here to talk more. If you're listening and you're watching, tell us what you're smoking. I'm smoking the Lunatic El Chiquito just because I've been on a kick for these lately.
Yeah.
I go through these phases where I really only want to smoke one cigar. I think in the last week or two, I've probably smoked about 4 or 5 of these. I don't smoke them that often, but when I do, I tend to go through like 8 or 9 of them, and then I stop for a little while and go to another 70 ring gauge and then stop.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not sure I've had that size of that one.
That's a good cigar.
This is about as big a ring gauge as I.
Which one is that?
This is the Davidoff.
The late hour. That's the one everybody tells us to try.
I really like this one. It's full flavored. It's not not crazy strong on the nicotine, but it's bolder.
And I'm not a big Davidoff fan because I smoked the Davidoff like 4 or 5 years ago.
That was probably the one from smoking. That was probably
somebody bought it to me, and it was like smoking.
The white label normal ones.
Yeah. So the one I smoked that I liked from Davidoff, and I will say it because I did enjoy it, was the one that we got from the Smoking Cigar of the Month Club.
Yes.
It was the Little Perfecto, the Escurio.
Escurio's good.
The really, really like dark, rich. That was the one I smoked that I enjoyed.
I like the Escurio, but my two favorite is just late hour and the Nicaragua. I like the Nicaragua.
Everybody's
Dark.
told me, yeah, they've told me to try the Nicaragua, the
I mean,
Yamasa.
anybody if you have ever smoked a medium or high or stronger cigar, it's kind of hard to go back to
Right.
the standard Davidoff, right? So even it's a beautiful cigar that lovely, whoever, it's expensive, people want it, whatever, good, nice.
To buy some Tower 44.
But Tower 44 is like the most elegant, and I think I'm the most proud of that one because I think it's such a unique flavor profile that comes together so perfectly. I just love that one, and I think it's versatile too.
How did you come up with all the names of the different sodas?
Okay, so we'll start with Tower 44. When I was a kid in the 8th grade, my aunt brought me to a brand new, newly created railroad museum in Danbury called Danbury Railroad Museum.
Yep.
You guys have ever been?
I've never been there, but I see the signs. I go to Buttheads.
I started volunteering in the gift shop. I was bagging, but I was like, trains. This is awesome, right? And so I got really involved there. By 16, I was on the board of directors of this volunteer organization and everything, right? I got super involved in the training world. But there's another organization in South Norwalk, Connecticut, called the Sono Switch Tower Museum.
I've heard of that.
And so a switch tower, basically on the main line, and they're going along the Connecticut shore, right, is a 4-track main line, very, very busy, called the Northeast Border, very, very busy train line. And so they would have these towers all along it that would have these big levers in it and a mechanical system to throw all the switches to make sure the trains didn't run into each other.
Right.
So it's a really cool museum. If you ever get to Norwalk, check it out. It's the Sono Switch Tower Museum. But that place, that was called Signal Station 44, the number of the building.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you can't use SS on them.
Right.
So I
Well, yeah.
So I call it Tower 44 in memory of that.
Right.
Because I think I wanted that flavor because of the saffron and the feathery qualities. I wanted to do something with trains because it's all that kind of like industrial petroleum kind of quality, right? So that's that one. This one, Candlewood, is named after Lake Candlewood in Danbury.
That's where Joey played football in Candlewood. With the AWAYF.
I didn't play in Candlewood.
Yeah, we did. We played at Candlewood. Yes, we did.
I played in Ansonia.
Which is Candlewood Park.
I played way out in
You played in
New
Candlewood,
Britain.
yes. So
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, no, you know what, Ansonia? Yeah, that is because Antonia's already gotten that big brawl of like
Well, I don't
60
know
on 20.
I don't know if it's named similarly, but Lake Candlewood is in Danbury.
Right.
New
So
Milford, New
basically,
Fairfield.
you did this through your childhood, like.
Well, not all of them. So yes, 3 of them. Vinny was the name of my first one. Have you guys ever seen the movie My Blue Heaven?
I have.
It's my favorite movie. I would watch it. It's my second favorite. I would watch it all the time as a kid, which is like totally inappropriate. It's like not. But Steve Martin is the ex-mafia guy, and his name is Vinny.
Yeah.
And so because we're like a messed up family or whatever, I guess, we named my first dog was named Vinny after that character.
Oh, that's nice.
And so I named the soda Vinny after that. And then
Fuck it, why not?
and then Royale is named after Calais Royale, which is this really dirty dive bar in Albany, which is where I met my wife. So
Well,
Okay.
hey, it is where you meet people,
I mean,
don't want to
Right.
It's the best place.
It is sentimental to you though.
People is in bars. How long you been with your wife?
oh geez, 17, 18 years now.
Hey, God bless. I've been with my wife going on 31.
Nice.
So
Yeah, we've been married about 6, 7 years.
So now I got to answer this because every time I see you on interviews and everything, I see the little mustache there, and he brought something up that said when he seen you earlier, you didn't have a mustache like that. So what made you grow the mustache and put the little handlebar? Is that like a trademark?
It is good marketing, right? Like I have a very forgettable face otherwise. And so like the only way anybody's ever going to remember me after they see me is that. And so it works for that. It definitely works for that. But no, like I was still working my real job back in the day, and COVID hit, and I didn't have to go out in public anymore.
Right.
And I couldn't go to the barber or anything, right? And so I was like, I'm just going to see what happens here. And it's totally ridiculous. If I was still in a professional career, I probably wouldn't do this. I wouldn't want to, but now I'm like, yeah, it's
So
fun.
now you're the boss, and the boss can't tell you what to do because you're the boss. You're the CEO.
Right.
So that's, ladies and gentlemen, that's why he has this sexy looking mustache. The little handlebars, he uses the wax to put it up there.
Use a lot of wax. It's a lot of work. You got to grow it. You got to trim it just right. And but I like it. You know, it's I don't think my wife likes it, but I like it. So whatever.
I'm gonna bite my tongue on that one.
What?
You know, because we're trying to stay PG. But
So now let me ask you this. Being that obviously I know that when you order, they come with like a pairing menu of like what like wrappers and origins go good with them.
Right.
Now, do you specifically have like out of your own personal cigars, like do you have certain ones that you would pair with each of your sodas?
I do, but really I think you can. I don't think it's like, you know, this cigar I only
Right.
this drink, right? Like this cigar, for example, the late hour. I think it's more time of day sometimes.
Okay.
Like if I was first thing in the morning, I drink a lot of Royale first thing in the morning. I like it. I have an espresso first before I go downstairs, and then my first cigar of the day, I usually have a Royale with it.
Okay.
And you know, I think that this would go well with that. I'm drinking it with Vinny right now because I was thinking about Vinny on the way down here and kind of like started craving it. But this is you know, it's a stronger cigar. It can hold up to this
Right.
soda, and I think the ginger and the heat. You know, Vinny's interesting. Vinny's really complex, and I know it's like it's a little bit off-putting the first time.
It is. I definitely noticed the complexity, like you said when we started.
You have to like, you know, when you were 5 years old, you didn't like whiskey.
no,
You know, when you were 5 years old, you didn't like espresso.
Right.
You have to start drinking this stuff and understand it and,
Right.
and get in touch with it. And it's like anybody who's tastes something and they're like, I don't like that. It's like, you know, well, give something a chance. Like try to learn it because if somebody else in the world likes something, there is a chance that you're missing the real value in it.
Right.
And I, you know, I think all of these are kind of like that, where you need to play with them, you need to understand them, you need to dive in and really get there. Like,
Right.
Cigars don't taste good the first time you smoke a cigar.
Right.
No, and that's true. Your palate develops.
You learn to get there, right? And so Vinny's really complex. Vinny has
What's up, H?
Vinny has heat in it, so if you drink enough of it, it'll start to sizzle the back of your throat.
well, that's like when I told you that I tried the one that had ginger. in it.
That's that one. That's the one. So that was the one. Remember, we drank it on the podcast that next day.
And I'm drinking, and I'm like, oh, this is good. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, whoa. I'm like, it's a little aftertaste.
And again,
That's
it
your ginger.
may have just been we weren't ready for it yet.
Because we probably weren't, because
Whew.
he sent us the stuff to try.
Whoa.
So you know what I mean?
And we didn't
That's the
move.
ginger extract, right? It's really strong.
Yeah, it
And
is.
The primary flavor in Vinny is allspice. So what we're trying to do with
Is that bottle right there?
It's this one. What we're trying to do with Vinny is achieve jerk seasoning, like Caribbean jerk.
Like jerk chicken.
Like,
There's that. Oh, there's the spice. Wow.
That's the allspice. And so
Whoa.
Yeah, that's the. You know what? When I
That's
drank
what
it
it is.
besides
That's the
ginger,
heat.
I tasted that. I was like, whoa.
It's kind of like clove a little bit. Right? Like,
Yeah.
it's very spicy. And so here's how I came up with that idea. One of my favorite flavor combinations in the world is fennel seed and pork. So you have like a nice Italian sausage.
Yes.
Italian sausage is not good unless it has fennel seed. Right? Like those two flavors are A plus B equals C. Totally new
Right.
thing that is spectacular. And so
2 + 2 = 6.
exactly. Or like, what it really is, it's like 1 + 2 = 6, right?
Right.
It's like you have two different things that come together and create something that is better than those two things on the
Right.
Right.
1 + 2 = 6 in
Right.
this case. And like what I wanted to do was create a soda that got the meatiest of cigars that taste like pork. Because there are a lot of cigars that have this
Yeah, what's that one that Sir Louis does? Sir Louis.
or like even,
Meat.
The meat lovers, street meat.
but there
There's
is
street meat that he has.
Saka does red meat lovers.
Yes.
That
Right.
which if anybody hasn't had that, It's hard to find, but it is a phenomenal
and so this
cigar.
Is designed to pair with meat because jerk plate, you get that like that gold meat.
Yeah.
I love me some jerk chicken.
Right? And so this is essentially, now that you know it's I wonder, like, let's open one.
I wonder if we'll be able to.
Have you sip it now and think about jerk seasoning on your meat rather than, wow, this is weird. I don't understand what's going on. Instead, think about it as jerk seasoning, drink it, and see what you think about it.
What, in here for now?
I got another one. You don't want to mix them up.
Yeah, because it'll mess with the flavors.
Let's try this one. Now this one is which one?
This is Vinny. This is
the one we originally
you didn't like.
that we originally tried. That was kind of.
It's funky. So when you smell it, you're gonna get this kind of like really savory qualities.
It smells like, and it's got like a sweet smell to it.
It's got a little, but it's also savory.
Yeah, no, it is.
When you taste it, you can actually now that I smell the thing, now that you can taste it.
The allspice.
Yes, you can taste the
So
allspice.
try to find molasses in it. There's a lot of molasses.
You can definitely taste the molasses.
There's smokiness on its own, which you might not be able to taste because you're smoking a cigar, but like on its own, you'll be able to taste that smokiness. If you drink enough of it, you'll get the heat.
See, now
I just retrohaled it. I can taste the jerk, and I can taste the molasses after you retrohale.
Yeah.
So.
And so it's like now that you know how to break it down
Yes.
and understand it a little bit, it's
I'm actually enjoying it now.
A big gulp of it on its own, but with a cigar, it's a really nice pair.
No, it is. You know what? Now that we've kind of
right, like you don't chug it.
Now that we've smelled everything, and you've kind of broken it down for us, we're able to smell everything that's in it. It's actually not as harsh as it was when we first drank it.
Start to really, think about all the pieces that are in it, and it can be a lot of fun.
So guys, while we're on live,
That's
right
really
now
good.
with Charlie, okay, he authorized.
You know what? That allspice, man, it's
20%
just
off.
it kicks in right away, but it's
You
good.
have to use the code. What is it, Charlie? 2020. You have to use
Just
the
while
code
this interview was
2020.
live, so you got about
Just
another
the
hour
interview's
left.
live. Once the interview's off live, listen.
Yeah, you got an hour. You got a little less than an hour left.
Say, hey, I missed the interview because then that's up to you. We put him up there all week.
But either way, whether you get it with the discount code or not, go get them. Obviously, you see we're breaking them down for you live here, and you guys are learning about it. And I mean, they're just good to begin with. Let's just.
And you know who like this? I think Matt.
He might like these.
I think because
He'd probably.
No more. So
You know what? He might like the Vinny. He might like all of them.
Yeah, he might like all of them. I'm gonna have to bring him some.
Or at least bring him one and let him try it.
Don't taste it, because he's George State's best friend, and so they have their bar smoking and stuff coming up.
Right.
And last year they used to have used to go there and they used to get food for free, and now people
And the drinks too, but now you got to pay for all of it.
Pay for it, which is understandable because times are hard.
You know what? Not even that. You think about it, right? You're paying, let's just say for a VIP, you're paying $300, okay? He's probably putting out with the cigars he's giving out, with everything he's bringing, he's probably putting out. I'll say, I'm not saying that it's real, that it's the right number or not, but I'd say upwards of probably about $100,000.
Right.
You figure he's getting people to turn out, but there's money being made, but not enough to cover the cost.
Right.
Because you're paying $10 for your bag because of the regulations, but you're getting like $200 worth of cigars because last year they had the Liga 9, the Liga T52, H99, Velvet Rat, Ratzilla, an A. Yeah, so like you figure by the time you're done, everybody's paying $10 for that. That's covering whoever the vendor is for the cigars. You're still losing money on that bag.
Right.
And then you're giving away all the swag and everything else that comes with the ticket because realistically, you're paying the price for the ticket and you're basically paying for your swag, essentially, in my opinion.
Basically, when you pay the $400 for the
VIP.
For the VIP, you're paying for the box that they're giving you.
You're paying for the
That's what
boxes. You're paying for your
So
swag.
you're paying for free to bar smokers.
Right.
That's basically what you're doing.
When you break it down, your ticket is essentially free. What you're paying for is all the extra stuff you get, like the swag, the cutter, the lighters, the cigars. And by the time you're done, you know, there's no money. There's not a lot of money being made by the time he pays all the vendors and everything else. So I can see why he's making you pay for food, because not only that, it's only 12 to 4. It's like 4 hours now. It went from 2 days to 1 day, an all-day thing. Now it's back to 1 day, but it's only 3 or 4 hours. So, you know, you figure too, for those guys, it's a lot of work because they got to go set everything up.
Right.
They got to prepare everything there. Then they got to go back to the hotel, change, go back to the bar and smoker, work it, break it down, and then they come back, and that's their relaxing time. You know, so like for guys like us to go, it's okay because you figure, okay, 3 hours, and you don't want to buy food, that's fine because you go 12 to, let's just say, 2:30, right? Now you go back to the hotel, you grab food from wherever, you go back, you eat, you relax. And when they come back, because we usually stay at the same hotel as them because we know all the guys, we're friends with everybody.
Yeah,
So we stay at the same hotel. So what we'll do is we'll go back, we'll shower, we'll relax, we'll wait until they get back. And then when they get back, they text us, yo, guys, we're outside. And we go out, we hang out, chill out with the guys. Like, we have a friend of ours in Rhode Island who a lot of the times we only get to see at the Barn Smoker. So, you know, it's nice because you catch up with people you haven't seen, you know, and stuff like that. And people are like, oh, but you got to pay for food this year. You're getting, like, the swag is insane. They're giving out the camouflage backpack like they had last year. They're giving out a spray can lighter, you know, a cutter, a hat, all kinds of stuff. So, like, I don't know. I just find it that that the people complaining are kind of like, you know, you're mad about the fact that you have to pay for food, but look at what you're getting in return.
So, guys, we want to give a shout out to our sponsor, BAM. We want to give a shout out to Percente Blends, Casa Carabello, and my man right here, my man Charlie with Abbina Soda.
MBR Radio, the Nest Network. Shout out to those guys.
Those are the ones that keep us going. So, Charlie, let me ask you this. So, you were sitting home in your dining room, right? So, what made you want to pair cigars with soda rather than like with Pepsi or something else?
Well, I mean, I've always been into flavors and food and all that stuff, right? And so at some point, the standard mainstream sodas they're just boring. There isn't much interest. But I started smoking cigars very young, before I was 18, before I was allowed to buy them, right? And so I had them shipped to the Railroad Museum. And I would smoke them in my car driving around, right? And you know, so I was hidden.
Right.
And I'd go through a drive-through and get a soda because you need to drink something while
Right.
it's smoking.
Right.
And so soda has always been my pairing, right? Like bourbon and whiskey has not. It's just never been like I drink plenty, right? But like I stopped for a while, but I started again, right? Like so I can drink with the best of them. Although I've always kind of preferred cocktails over like the brown liquor, the straight brown liquor. But like pairing bourbon with a cigar just never clicked for me. It didn't do much for the cigar. It didn't do much for the bourbon. Like I don't know, it just never worked for me. And so soda was always my pairing of choice. I just at some point got really bored with, you know, it just clicked. You're smoking a cigar with a Pepsi for 15 years.
It's just like you
And
get
then at some
bored.
point you're like, oh shit, I don't need to limit myself to this anymore, right? Like there is more out in the world,
Right.
and something else can be interesting. And like, let's try things. I don't like to smoke one type of cigar. I have, you know, I have 2,000 cigars at home. They're all different.
2,000 guys. I'm going to his house by the way next week.
They're all different because I want to try different things all the time. You know.
So now let me ask you this: so where can we find Abbina sodas in stores?
Are they in stores or are they in just lounges and stuff like that?
So we're just getting kind of caught up with the whole wholesale concept.
Okay.
I was really pushing the online sales first.
Right.
We only launched sales, like I said, at the end of December, beginning of January. So this is all very new. But I'm in about a half dozen cigar shops around the Northeast. So Park Lane, of course, in Clifton Park, where I met you guys previously. Queensbury Cigar and Pipe, which is a great shop.
I haven't been up there yet, but I've heard great things.
Connecticut Cigar Company in Stanford.
Okay.
Jim Stogie's on Long Island. There's a place out in Erie, Pennsylvania called The Brig. It's a new, beautiful lounge.
Oh, you know what? I think that's where Kyle and them do their events. Kinzua Cigar Club, because he's right there.
Yep.
He's not far from there. Yeah.
So they've had it for a couple months now, and
Okay.
it's really well there. So that's the lineup of retail shops. But there's new ones, coming on board every week. And I want to do. The problem is that liquid in glass is really heavy.
Right.
So shipping it is a financial disaster. Right. So I can do it retail, but wholesale shipping is really challenging. So I kind of confined to Northeast. But I am going to start shipping wholesale any minute now. So anybody who's watching and who's interested in getting into a shop,
Arizona,
let me know and we'll figure it out.
I was gonna say, now if we go to a shop and somebody's looking for something, we give them that to try. How do they just contact you, or okay?
Can they go to us and we contact you and say, hey, listen,
or at least say, hey, listen, I made the connection. Here's the shop.
Yeah. Listen, it's just me. I'm the company, right? Like I say, we all the time when I'm talking about it, but it's just me.
Right.
Me and my multiple personalities.
Hey, listen, sometimes multiple personalities is good. It's fun. Keeps you busy.
Talk to myself a lot.
Absolutely. And you answer yourself too, because I do the same thing.
Sure, why not?
I do the same thing.
the answer's always right.
Exactly. You can never be wrong.
So it's just me, very informal. I'll get it done. I want everybody to enjoy it.
Right.
It's really, I made the soda for myself primarily, as I've explained here.
Right.
It's for me because I needed something
extra,
and I hope other people want to enjoy it too.
Well,
You need something with a little pizzazz.
Yeah. So the thing is, let's say if I want to get you in the shop here, I talk to the owner. So I'll tell the owner, listen, I'm the broker, so now you got to go through me. It's going to be the same price, but now there's a little, you got to go through me, and because he's by himself,
Right?
So blah blah blah. So we want to get you in a shop, let's say in Jersey or somewhere else, and we get you out there. So now, what does it take for you to come out there?
Do like you did in Kingston. What was it? A couple of weeks ago, or last week? The one you did up there. Yeah.
That's just about, and that's a nice event for me because I get to retail it at the event
Right.
rather than being in the shop, so it works better. But I don't have like a mechanism for like an affiliate program or anything like that at this point. It's just too small for that to work.
Right.
But as we grow, we can look into that and figure out if that's a potential. But at this point, if somebody wants it in their shop, I'll get it in their shop.
Okay.
If somebody wants to do an event, I'm there.
Okay.
And I think that the thing that I really like about the events is that I get to talk you through it, right?
Right.
When you taste the soda on your own, it's confusing. It's a little weird.
It definitely.
Well, that's like
when I get to talk you through it piece by piece, you really understand each piece and get to enjoy it, and maybe you figure it out eventually.
Right.
But I really enjoy the.
And that goes back to like you did with the Vinny,
Exactly.
where you explained it all to us.
Right.
And now you taste it, and it's like, well,
Right. And you said,
wait a second.
like
Now
you
I
said-
understand it.
Right. So when you sent it to us, you said just taste these. And like I said to you, and I told you this before, I'm not a big fan of the ginger. Then when you said retro health, and you can taste everything, I'm like, wow.
Man, that allspice is just like.
So guys, on that note, we got to take another commercial break, and we'll be back with my man Charlie, CEO of Abbina Sodas. Check it out.
No, like governments, like state actors, non-state actors, NGOs, all working together to create this influence around the world. There's something out there I think everybody here should go watch. It's called the AI Dilemma. It's
I need
a
to
small
write that
video.
down. Mm-hmm.
You should absolutely write that down. It's very good. It's very short. It's less than an hour, I think. It's called AI Dilemma, and it's a very updated version of all the things that artificial intelligence can do. And they're getting very deep right now. We're starting to see something called AI intimacy. And AI intimacy is where each person is getting their own AI system. Now, what's that based upon? It's based upon not your demographic, but your psychographic, how you think, what you like, where your vulnerabilities are, what your susceptibilities are. And that AI system is with you. It's on your phone that you can talk to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's literally reverse engineered through every click, like, and share that you've ever done, every comment you've ever made. It knows you better than your priest, your pastor, your spouse, your parents, your brother, your sister, any family member, your best friend, because it hears all your secrets. It knows every search you do on the internet. It knows everything that you want to learn about. It knows everything you're interested in, and it just gets reversed engineered and becomes your personal AI system.
Hey guys, we're back with my man Charlie.
Like that, right? It's good.
Back with my man Charlie.
That was good. That was good.
I can't mess with you guys. So Charlie came down from Albany, ladies and gentlemen,
To be here with us today live.
Be here with us today live in the studio. Cigar Spot, Fishkill, New York. We're open Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Fridays, and Saturdays sometimes. So if you need a cigar, come down.
Only 11 to 6.
Only 11 to 6, because after 6 o'clock,
It's members only.
That's why we're here now, because we're members. Hello.
Normally there's more people here, which is normally how it is, but because it's Mother's Day and it's raining, and there's no games on. See, when there's games, this side room gets packed, so we do everything in here.
Right.
And so people laugh because we started out there doing it. But then in here, when it's usually just the two of us, it works because it's a smaller area.
Yeah, you want to have your space.
Yeah, and it's smaller. We're not bothering anybody. Nobody really sits in here unless it's super busy. So it's just the two of us. And we're able to sit here and do it. And, you know, people think it's an elaborate setup when really it's just a computer and our clip-on microphones, and that's it. That's what gets us into a lot of the shops.
Beauty of the internet.
Absolutely.
Well, we're actually looking into.
We actually did one a couple of weeks ago, actually up in Iron Horse.
Nice.
I love those guys. Those guys are great.
We're actually looking into having someone else. They have their own production company, Taste of Cuba.
Yes.
They're going to sit with us.
And we're going to meet up one day and discuss things.
So there might be more of an elaborate setup soon. You know what I mean? So check it out. So also, let's give a shout out to Apex Championship Wrestling.
Yeah, man, we're
down there May 25th in North Carolina.
Well, as of today, we're what? Today's the 12th. We're 13 days out, boys. So May 25th, it all goes down. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a lot of ass kicking. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And Charlie's not big on wrestling, so we're gonna have to.
I don't know.
We're gonna have to get Charlie into wrestling.
What?
Charlie's gonna have to come hang out with us.
When I do my deliveries in Stanford, he makes me take a picture of the big.
Oh, the WWE TKO, yeah.
So I try that shop, Connecticut Cigar Company. They do. They have a roller on site.
I've actually heard of them.
Yeah, so you should not.
Connecticut Cigar Company. I believe, you know who I think told us about that? Mark.
They're only Connecticut just passed a law that now again allows for cigar shop to get a liquor license. So they're the first shop in Connecticut to get the liquor. There's been the Owl Shop in New Haven.
And then in Danbury, you have Hat City Ale House, who's the cigar bar that got shut down. That's now starting to softly open back up.
So Stanford was the first one to get it through this new
through the new push law. Yep.
But they rolled their own cigars up front. They're great little cigars. Really nice lounge in the back. So check them out. But they're right around the corner from that building with the big belt.
TKO.
So Charlie, we're gonna try to get you into Hat City Ale House. You may have to, when we're ready to go up there, we'll set up a date.
And he's in Danbury, so he's not much farther than we are now.
Well, I mean, my parents lived in
You know
Denver.
where the shop right is in Danbury?
On Pandam Road.
Pandam Road. There's the shop right.
Yeah, Pandam Road. There's the shop right, and then you have the McDonald's and that little strip mall next to it, the 2-story one. So Buttheads is in there. He's on the bottom floor. So he owns Hat City Ale House on Main Street in Danbury.
I've been to Butthead. I haven't been to
Well,
the other
when you
place.
go to Butthead, bring your stuff with you.
So we
Go in
actually,
there and tell Kevin that you know Dave and Joey.
so last week or 2 weeks ago, we actually took the bald man to Butthead's.
Yes.
He was like a kid in a candy store.
And I'm gonna tell you, when you go there,
He walked around and he's like, and he's looking, he's going, wow,
cigars
he's
that
got
you
a
can't
lot.
get no more. If he doesn't have it, it don't exist.
And you know, he's another one that like he straight shoots how cigars are. And the new Sancho Panza came out, the extra Cheeto.
And he was like, yeah, no.
He ordered, he had 11 boxes. When we went, he had one order, he sold through the first order. In 11 days, he doesn't ever smoke more than 1 or 2. He smoked 5.
Yeah.
So that shows you how good of a cigar it is, because he normally doesn't smoke more than 1 or 2 of the same cigar.
Remember, I haven't tried that one.
I don't know who has it up here, but I know it's like, I know he has it. I think Sir Louis probably has it. A lot of places don't carry Sancho Panza. That's the thing.
I mean, most of this, I order most of my stuff anyway.
Yeah, that's usually what I do.
In
Is
New York, it's not really.
I go online. Well, that's why people ask me, you know, and you know this, you know, people go, how do you guys beat the taxes in New York? Like you said, I order online, or I take a ride to Pennsylvania, which is only an hour and 10 minutes, depending on where I go. I go to Jersey, or I go to Butthead's. Everything within like a 45-minute radius is all a way to do it. And people are like, so you're able to do that? So yeah.
So hopefully we can just, you know, get some new legislation. I'm carrying over my political career. Right?
Hopefully the legislation, we can drop the taxes.
To cap the tax. You know, I'm not opposed to taxes generally,
but tobacco tax is getting excessive.
It's obscene. And totally destructive.
And now they're talking about, and they're talking about 125% is what they want to raise it to now.
How did you come up with the name Abbina? What does that?
So Abbina is an Italian word. It's a conjugation of the word Abbina, which means to match or to pair.
Okay.
So it's little nod to my Italian ancestors, I guess.
Okay.
So it means to match or to pair.
Okay. That's so yeah, so that's what I wanted to know, because you know, being a soda, I'm trying to figure out what it is, and you know, that's what's his name. Just let me know what it is.
Who?
So yeah, I mean the concept here is a soda that is intentionally for pairing.
Right.
You know, you're welcome to drink it on your own if you want to, but you can pair it with good food. I have an option for pairing it with food. Pair it with a good cigar. Play with that. Have fun with it. You can mix it into a cocktail.
Right.
Or just, you know, enjoy the complexity of it on its own. But pairing is the
right
thing.
Correct.
Because you know you have flavors in this that you would never find in other beverages.
No, you wouldn't at all.
And so I think, you know, having the opportunity to put something unique in is great.
Don't worry about that. You good?
You're good. Good. How are you?
Doing well. How are you, sir? So that's more about Gun Scouts. I told y'all they're gonna start rolling, and this is why we're good in here.
That's why, like I said before, you know, this room doesn't really get super busy unless there's a big event and everybody's out there and in here, and normally when it's nice out, we actually just do it right in the home office, so to say, in the front yard. We pull the table out, put the tent up, put the computer out.
I was gonna do it today.
It was a little chilly.
We're just getting slammed with the rain here.
Yeah, they said the rest of the week is supposed to be like this.
The whole week is going to be a little crummy, but what are you going to do?
I mean, listen, you know what?
That's why we have indoor spaces too.
Yeah.
So Charlie, let's see what else. So what is your go-to cigar that you like the most?
I mean, that's an impossible question, obviously. I think my favorite brand, I'd say, I really like stuff made and blended by Warped.
It actually works.
Warped. Okay.
Which one?
Warped.
Okay.
That's like,
Warped is.
I mean, so he'll go to a bunch of different factories. He does, you know, Aginorsa a lot.
So it's funny because the guy that rolls used to roll these, I believe. I don't know if he still does. That rolls Warped and some of the Nica Libre is actually a friend of mine, the master blender and roller down there. in Jalapa, in that factory.
So he does some of the stuff that they're some of the newer stuff. Dominican, he does at La Isla, Dominican, and then he does a lot of stuff. His most special stuff is at El Titan de Bronze.
I've heard of that, yes.
And so that's like, but a lot of his stuff, the vast majority of stuff is smaller ring gauge, which
yes.
I prefer. And I kind of, I just like, I'm not the biggest person in the world, so I kind of prefer a cigar that fits into my hand.
No, absolutely.
So
those flavors work for me.
When you first started doing the sodas in your dining room, right?
Yeah.
So what was the first cigar that you paired with your first soda that you made?
That's a tough one, but I got farthest making Candlewood, which is that cherry beet flavor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I really designed that one most to pair with, in my mind, it was Alec Bradley's Honduran made stuff.
Okay.
Right? So
like the Tempest and
sure, or I mean, the Prensado is kind of, to me, the classic.
yes, that's actually that's a great one to. I forgot about that.
I think with that soda, it just is magic. But even like it's a pretty diverse catalog. But they have the Magic Toast. I
feel like the Magic Toast would probably do.
It's good with
yeah.
I was just going to ask you because the Magic.
It probably would pair really good with that too.
But the Honduran tobacco and like Costa Rican tobacco can sometimes have these citrusy qualities that I think, even though Tower 44 is more citrus, with the grapefruit, I don't think it works that well with that one. I think with Candlewood,
yes,
Candlewood is more syrupy and a little bit more thick, and I think the citrusy qualities in the cigar just like give that contrast with the Candlewood that is really nice, right? Like, so they complement each other in a really nice way. But yeah, I mean, there's just so much opportunity with it, right? So that's why I say, like, I really encourage playing around with it and kind of figuring it out. Use what I say as a guide, as a base level guide.
Yeah,
but then play with it. Yeah.
No, you know what, that guy, I was using that guide not long ago because somebody had asked me, like I said, about your stuff, and I was explaining to them, like, when you order, you get a guide and it tells you kind of what pairs, what would pair well with each one, like tobacco wise or even country wise and strength wise. And I was like, that's something that a lot of people that make, like, whether it's whiskey or bourbon that's specifically made to pair with cigars, a lot of them don't do that.
Yeah, you're not, because they're only going to have one product, right?
Right.
And so, I think about it actually as 5 different categories. I think about it as strength, origin, flavor notes. I don't remember what number 4 is, and then but then time of day, right? And so, like, those things are all a calculation that you have to do in your own mind to kind of figure out what's going to go
right. And like you said, playing with different cigars and different sodas kind of helps you figure out what goes well with what. Right.
And so, when you're asking me about this one, I'm like, I like Royale in it, but it depends on the time of day. Like, in the middle of the day, I don't, I already had my coffee this morning.
Right.
I'm not really into the Royale right at the moment. I want it to be with this one, and I think this cigar would go great with either of those two. Less so with the other 2 sodas. And that's the cool thing about it, is if I was having the late hour, I would probably have Royale with it.
Right.
So now, do you make these at home, or do you have a factory that makes them?
Yeah. So like I said, I worked with a professional flavorist out of Louisville. So they make a lot of stuff. Like, have you ever heard of Jones soda?
Yes.
So they do the formulas for Jones
with all the liquid cane and stuff, with the fresh liquid cane sugar.
I was going to mention,
that's why a lot of their Jones sodas taste good, because it's not that.
So I was going to mention that one of the things that they helped me with figure out, and I didn't know this originally in my form to do this, is that these are sweetened with 70% organic agave and 30% organic cane sugar. So the agave gives so much more complexity. And like, when they sent me samples with just the cane sugar and then mostly agave as a sweetener, and the flavors were just totally different, so much better with the agave. So agave is expensive, it's heavy. so it's a pain in the ass to ship, but it's so worth it in the end. So what I do is basically I work with them. They come up with the formulas. They send me single bottles. We refine it,
Right.
and then they take a few months and scale those formulas to be able to make 500 gallons of liquid at a time. I buy the flavoring from them, and then I get all the other ingredients from different vendors. And I'm working with a very small company in New Britain, Connecticut, who actually manufactures it in tanks and puts it in bottles.
Okay.
And then ships it back to me, and I distribute it out of the warehouse.
So, what's the price list, and what can people order from you? Can order a 4-pack, 12-pack, 24-pack, 36-pack.
Yeah, so we're kind of we are. I am playing with I'm playing with all of that stuff still, right? But as of right now, on the website, you can order a 4-pack that includes one of each flavor, and that'll get you a discount on a future 12-pack.
Okay.
You can order a 12-pack of single flavor each. You can order a 12-pack that gives you 3 bottles of each flavor, or you can order a 12-pack and customize what you get in that 12-pack. I'm soon going to have 24 packs available.
Okay.
And I probably soon have 6 packs available. And the 4-pack is more expensive per bottle as you buy more.
Right.
It goes down
Just kind of like almost like cigars. It's more expensive if you buy one, and then if you buy a box.
And the thing is, like I said, the shipping cost on the stuff is hard to deal with, right?
Right.
Liquid in glass is really heavy, but the 12-pack, we do a flat rate shipping no matter where you are in the country because it's just easier to figure out. But I'm still subsidizing the shipping cost, so the shipping cost you're paying on the website is less than it actually costs for me to get to you because it's so expensive. But really, some people have said so that this is anywhere between $3.50 and $5 a bottle, depending on how many you buy, where you get it, etc. And ultimately, if you go to a lounge or a restaurant or whatever, you're paying $2.50 for a glass of Pepsi, you're paying $3.50 for a bottle or whatever. So, I want people to understand that this is a small batch product. It's made with super premium ingredients. It's made with a vision that is really specific.
Right.
And we're using real saffron oil like you just smelled. We're using real patchouli oil like you just smelled that are not they're not cheap.
No.
So it's a little more expensive, but you're not going to drink 5 of them in one sitting.
Right.
And so I think it's a good value proposition for somebody who wants to kick it up a level and enjoy
absolutely
a little bit more.
For sure. I mean, listen, like I said, this is the way that you break everything down and explain it is like to think that all those little bottles are what goes into each of these sodas.
And really, I'm only letting you smell 2 ingredients out of each bottle. There's 50 ingredients.
Right.
It's a really complex process, which is so much fun, and
oh, absolutely.
And,
so now you get to pick the ingredients that goes into the soda, or does the scientists do that?
The flavors.
It's a joint process, right? Like it's a partnership. If I don't like something, they change it.
Right.
We did not work on pricing. Ultimately, some of these cost more than others. Right. To make. To me, it was my most important thing. My number one thing was the vision. I wanted to achieve a very specific flavor profile in each one, and we work together to achieve that flavor profile. They mix in whatever they do and make it and refine it and make it perfect. When I was working at home, I would, I talked about fennel before, right? We're like, if you're familiar with root beer, or sarsaparilla, right?
Sarsaparilla. Shout out to
Sarsaparilla. I bought actual sarsaparilla root. It's a root. It's wood, like wood shavings, basically. And I would extract them with grain alcohol and mix them in. And so you can do that with essential oils and all of that stuff, but ultimately it's like the end product is not very refined. You need some of the synthetic compounds, like this benzaldehyde, like this trimethylpyrazine, that don't necessarily smell great on their own. You need a professional who has worked with this stuff constantly to really just polish this off and get it to be exactly what you want it to be. And so doing it all yourself in your dining room is not really practical for a
Right.
final marketable product in the end.
Right, right.
But I love learning. I have a big lab in my basement now with a lot of this stuff. So what I was going to say is, root beer sarsaparilla. You go and buy on the shelf mug root beer or whatever.
Right, right.
It's primarily wintergreen is the flavor, and it's a compound called methyl salicylate. I'm saying all these words, right? But it's a compound called methyl salicylate. It's wintergreen with flavor, and that is paired with some vanilla and some spices and
then it
some
dilutes that.
It makes you think, oh, this is root beer now. But I guarantee, go buy a bottle of root beer, buy a bottle of sarsaparilla, smell it, close your eyes, and think about wintergreen, and I'm ruining root beer for you. Now you know root beer is simply wintergreen soda.
Because when you add all those other flavors, like you said, it dilutes it down so that it's not. Yeah.
And so it doesn't taste like you just brush your teeth or anything.
Or chewed a pack of gum.
Exactly, but that's what it is. Ultimately, 90% of the flavor in that is this methyl salicylate.
Right.
And so, I think that's really fun, right? Like to understand that and realize, you could use almond extract to achieve this flavor that I want, but actually
Which is
by
crazy.
using benzaldehyde, which is 70% of the character of almond extract, you can achieve the same thing, and you can achieve it more purely, right? Like it's a more direct flavor that way. And so it's a lot of fun to play with all the chemicals.
I mean, listen, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys joining us. We are live. The Vanilla Gorilla, Big Dog, my man Charlie, Abbina Soda. We are now going to take our last commercial break, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes. Check us out.
I was broken for a while, a drop of blood for every mile I'm on. I took all that they gave and lived to fight another day. But if today is all I get, I'll make my mark and you can bet that I'll never surrender. On this life, and I'll never surrender. On this life, I can't change the past, but I can change how the story turns. 'Cause it's not mistakes that make us, but the lessons learned. Because what doesn't kill me will make me stronger in the end. And I'll never surrender. On this life, and I'll never surrender. On this life, get back up, standing tall again, with a medal on my chest. God knows I've done my best, because what doesn't kill me will make me stronger in the end. And I'll never surrender on this life. 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 On this life.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Sunday, happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there. We're back with my man Charlie from Abbina Soda. If y'all are live right now, you get 20% off if you use the code 2020. After this, go on his website and say, hey, Boss Dog said no.
Just for this interview.
Just for this interview. After that, you paying full price. That's all I'm going to tell you. And don't call me and say, hey, can you tell Charlie to hook me up? Because my answer is going to be absolutely.
Well, the full price is still very reasonable.
Oh, the full price. Yeah, I've seen the prices of them. They're still really reasonable prices.
So
I did just want to say one other thing that we didn't get to cover was the logo on the bottle.
Yes, I meant to ask you about that.
So the logo is a stylized tobacco flower, right?
Really?
So I don't know if you're familiar with the flower. Usually on a plant that's growing tobacco leaves, they clip the flower because it makes the leaves more full, right?
Okay.
But I think the flower is really cool. And I told you my background in perfumery. So like I love any smells that I can get, right? Like I love different flowers. The tobacco flower is a really beautiful fragrance. It's kind of similar to jasmine.
Okay.
But I was going to show you in.
Yeah, sure.
So like that's a tobacco flower.
Okay, show the crowd. So that's the tobacco flower, guys.
And so you can
Never knew that. Never knew that.
You can see this on the brand Instagram.
That's it's funny you say that because, you know, obviously you've seen the video I made. When I made the video, I was actually pulling the pictures from your Instagram, and actually the logo was one of the things that I clicked on, and I'm like, oh, I'm like, because, you know, everybody we get, I try to look for a logo picture.
Yeah.
So when I clicked on it, I actually read the description first, and then I screenshotted it and I edited it out so that it was just the big logo, and I was like, I'm like, oh shit, I'm like, I didn't know that.
Well, I think it's, you know, the flower is really cool about it, right? Because it's sort of like it's the hidden part of the tobacco plant.
Right.
From us as cigar enthusiasts, we don't know about the flower very much. We don't get exposed to the flower.
No, you don't get exposed to the leaves.
But there would be no plants if there weren't flowers.
Right.
Like, you know, this is how anatomy works.
Right.
So how did you find out about the flower? Because I've been smoking cigars 30 years. I never knew about the flower.
I mean, I looked into I learned all about the farming.
Damn, now I'm drinking this one too.
And the process of growing the plants and everything. That picture that I just showed you is an ornamental tobacco plant that is in my garden.
Really?
Because I grow the ornament. You can't smoke the leaves off.
Right.
But because I love the flowers, I think they're really beautiful. But in the same way that Abbina Soda unlocks hidden flavors in your cigars, kind of honor this hidden aspect of the plant by using it in the logo.
So now let me ask you, how did you come up with like like the different colors for each bottle? Is there like a reason behind that, or did
My
you
gut feeling.
you
I
just
wanted-
kind of picked them?
I wanted different colors, and I was kind of like, what color evokes the flavor
Right.
in the right way. Obviously, the red was where I started with.
Right.
And then I also didn't mention this. You guys were really impressed with the color of Candlewood when I poured it.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful, right? All of them are colored with natural coloring that is made from fruit and vegetable juice, as opposed to
Okay.
artificial color. So it's not, that isn't like red 40.
I was gonna say it's not like food coloring enough.
No, red 40 will give you cancer. Like, that shit is nasty. I'm not into these. Use preservatives. These use different.
To get my man
I
a
know.
booster seat, you guys tower over him.
I was gonna like.
Yo, mind your business.
I was gonna ask for a couple of phone books. Like, you guys do that on purpose.
Did you just drop your cup?
So,
No, it's funny because because actually when we did the episode, when we did the episode with the bald man, it was almost the same way.
I was thinking about bringing my own pillow.
Listen, you know
like
what?
When Mike was sitting here, ball guy, he keeps going like this.
Yeah.
And,
You know,
and
and-
the funny thing was, I said we're gonna have the chairman of the ball, and so he just went with that. He goes, I said no. I said the chairman of the board. He goes, no, you said
No,
the
you
chairman
said
of
ball,
the board."
but I will say
What did he
after
do?
the
whole
episode,
day he kept going. And ladies and gentlemen, you're back with the chairman of the board.
and not only that, it's funny because after the episode, he said everybody called him and was like, dude, that was awesome. He goes, and the chairman of the bald, he goes, that's fucking great. He was like, that's awesome. And it was just kind of one of those, like, it slipped out.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, like, even
But it kept going. And this is what our podcast is
like
we
you
don't
see, we're
have
sitting here
scripts.
laughing, we're
We
joking.
don't have scripts. I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, Mike, listen. I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, Charlie, listen. Answer that question.
Yeah.
That's not what we're about. We're about just shooting from the hip.
We're here more or less, yes, to expose the product for people that have never heard of it, but we're also just here to have a good
I
time.
mean, ultimately, we're cigar people,
Right.
And like, and sitting here talking about cigars and enjoying the cigars together is
That's what it's about.
it's what it is about. And I think that's like.
By the way, I like the Argyle socks.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
And this is what a lot of people, like the bald man, a lot of people see him dressed in slacks and a button down shirt and stuff, and they don't get to see, a lot of the times they don't get to see the other side of
So,
the businessman, like you, like bald man, just sitting here laughing.
I mean, this is and
joking.
That's the thing. This is like, like I said, I made this for myself.
Right.
I made it for you guys to enjoy. Like, this is it's not. It happens to be a business. I'm lucky enough to do that.
Absolutely.
But ultimately, this is a passion project.
So we met the bald man probably about 2 years ago in Styx.
I think it was it might have been during COVID when they had a limited amount of tickets.
We met him in Styx Cigar Lounge in New Jersey.
Right.
So, listen, I get a couple pops to me. I'm having a good time. Okay. So now everybody's sitting down, they got a band playing, blah, blah, blah. Nobody's fucking dancing. So now I get up.
You go to a lot of these events, and you've been to them, we've been to them. A lot of the events are just a lot of older guys who just want to come and sit with their friends and talk shit or
So now
talk
I get
about
up.
life and talk about the boring stuff.
And I go there, I fucking make people laugh. So I was in the old pictures, blah, blah. So last year we went to the Styx event. So they had this band there. So I said to them, nobody's playing the bongos. Can I play the bongos? He goes, yeah. So I start playing the bongos. The owner comes over and goes, Dave, that's disrespectful. And the guy in the band goes, I told you to play the bongos.
And not only that, he asked first.
So now I'm playing the fucking bongos. They're taking bitches, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, disrespectful. I said, how's that disrespectful, bro? I asked the guy. Like,
yeah.
So, so the ballman is like, your dad is fucking life of the party.
Not only that, and that's what it is. This is more like, even when we did his episode, like, it wasn't a formal episode. We don't have, a script. We just kind of, whatever questions we can think of, because, if we ask you something about this soda, about the Candlewood, it might turn into you answering about another question that we had. And, it's kind of like, it's more or less for just us to ask a basic question. and then
go into it.
you kind of
And listen, I mean, I talk about this stuff 24/7.
Right.
I'm constantly talking about it, but you actually hit me with a couple questions I didn't have immediate answers for.
Right.
You know, like what's the first cigar I had with one that I made. So I gotta go back in my memory and I'll be
You gotta go back and go.
So now,
Rewind.
as we're winding down, let me ask you: are you thinking about expanding this line and coming out with new, I guess, flavors, so to say, or anything
like I
new?
said, this is the first batch.
Right.
We got about 25,000 bottles made.
Okay.
The first batch, right?
Shit,
Um,
that's a lot of bottles.
I'm about probably about 40% through.
So have you ever thought about putting them in plastic bottles?
No, I'm not gonna put it in plastic.
No,
I might put it in cans
Okay.
because I would like it to be available on golf courses.
Okay.
I would like it to be available at sporting events.
Okay.
And so I might put it in cans because they don't let glass in those venues.
Right.
But I think this is and like I want the amber glass too. Because
I like
it's
that.
elegant, right?
It is. It's
That's fucking dope.
no, it is.
There's an aesthetic about
And
it.
it's the presentation of it that
It looks like a beer, and people will realize they order that and they go, "I thought it was a beer." No, motherfucker.
And you know-
you're gonna get more flavor than you put out here anyway.
well, this is true.
So you know, I like the aesthetic of it. I want it that way, but I'm thinking for our second batch, we're gonna do some minor tweaks on it.
Okay.
For cans, I gotta remove the salt. There's a tiny bit of salt in this.
Okay.
I gotta remove the salt so it doesn't burn the inside of the can.
Right.
I want to do a little bit of tweaking on Candlewood. I want to do a little bit of tweaking on Vinny. We'll get the second batch run. I might do a fifth flavor in that.
Okay.
But I do have conceptually, I have the next 4 flavors
Okay.
ready. We're just I haven't.
You just have to get to there
I
yet.
haven't put it in
Right.
structure yet.
Well, you're always welcome to come back.
Absolutely.
So we will
And
definitely do
when
that.
you're ready to introduce your new line, just hit me and Joey up. And bro, you're always welcome to come back on the
For
show.
sure.
Just let us
Hopefully
know
it's
when.
nicer out when we do it and we
It's
can
nice
do it
out.
outside and you know,
We'll try maybe next time we can try some food with it.
yeah.
I'm gonna make you a fucking burger.
I mean, listen,
We'll figure out what kind of condiments go perfectly with them.
yeah, little hot
You
sauce,
said condoms?
condiments.
Oh, condiments.
Yeah.
I thought you said condoms.
You know, I mean, rubber could be a good finger. Right?
You know, I mean, not something I'd probably try, but hey, listen, to each their own.
I'm kind of thinking about it, like that kind of petroleum.
No,
Gasoline.
Yes, well, I mean, Fireball does have antifreeze in it, so
I think we can play with those flavors.
yeah, sure. Just stick a rag in the bottle with the gas. No, just stick a rag in the bottle with the gasoline and have a good time.
And this is, ladies.
Get a
and
little
gentlemen,
lighter and
This is Turnbuckles and Stogies
so
with my man, the CEO of Abbina Sodas, Perry, my man Charlie, and the Vanilla Gorilla.
yep.
Thanks for coming in. We appreciate y'all joining. And make sure you order. If you don't order right now, before I cut it off, don't call me and tell me you want 20% off because I'm going to tell you absolutely not.
Hey,
Have a
listen.
good day, everybody.
All right, guys. We'll see you again next week.
Thank you.
That's the show for today, everyone. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with an all-new show. And remember, you can listen to us again and again. The podcast of this radio show is available right after we go off the air tonight, anywhere that you can get your podcast episodes. And thanks for joining us today. I'd like to take a moment to talk about something close to my heart. Military Broadcast Radio is doing incredible work to support our veterans and bring their voices to the world. They rely on your generous donations and your dedicated volunteer hours to make it happen. I encourage you to consider supporting NBR in any way, form that you can. Use this QR code that's attached to the picture, or you can go to our website at mbradio.us. That's Mike Bravo Radio.us to learn more about how you can donate or volunteer even just an hour a week from your home. Help make a difference in the lives of our veterans, because once again, we're all here for you and not for us. We're giving our veterans a voice.
All right, guys. So we got about 5 seconds left. Remember, next weekend, May 25th, New Bern, North Carolina, Apex Championship Wrestling, elevated
Wait,
at the
who's gonna
high
be there?
school.
Who's gonna be
We'll
there?
be there.
Who's we?
Peace.